Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vocasphere, the podcast where we make learning English a genuinely enjoyable part of your day. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Alice. It is fantastic to be back with our global community of learners. We're here to help you navigate the rich and sometimes tricky landscape of the English language, one conversation at a time.
That's our mission. And for today's episode, we are diving into one of life's great pleasures, an experience that combines culture, conversation, and delicious food. We're talking about ordering at a restaurant.
An essential skill for travelers, foodies, and anyone who enjoys a good meal out. We're calling this episode A Taste of English, and it's making me hungry already. I went to that new Italian place downtown last week, and it was an incredible experience from start to finish.
Oh, I've been wanting to try that place. The whole process, from walking in the door to paying the bill, is full of specific vocabulary and cultural norms. It can be a bit intimidating. So, where does the experience usually begin?
For a popular restaurant, especially on a weekend, it should always start with a reservation. A reservation, or a booking, is when you call the restaurant in advance or use an app to book a table for a specific time. It guarantees you won't have to wait for hours or be turned away. Some very popular places are fully booked weeks in advance.
That's a crucial first step. I learned that the hard way last Saturday. I tried to be a walk-in, which is someone who arrives without a reservation, and the host told me the wait was over an hour.
That's the risk you take. When I made my reservation, I also checked if there was a dress code. A dress code is a set of rules about what clothing is appropriate to wear. This place was smart casual, so no shorts or t-shirts.
Good to know. So, let's say you've made a reservation and you're dressed appropriately. What happens when you arrive?
When you walk in, you'll usually be greeted by a host or hostess. This is the person whose job is to manage the reservations, greet guests, and show them to their table. You'd walk up to them and say something like, "Hi, I have a reservation for 2 at 7 p.m. under the name Alice."
And if you're trying your luck as a walk-in, you would approach the host and say, "A table for two, please." This is the standard phrase to ask for a table for your group. The host will then tell you if they have anything available or how long the wait might be.
That's exactly. The host at the Italian place was very welcoming. He confirmed my reservation and asked, "Would you prefer a table or a booth?" A booth is a type of seating with long, upholstered benches, which can feel a bit more private and cozy. We chose a booth by the window. The overall ambiance of the restaurant was fantastic. The lighting, the music, the decor. The ambiance is the character and atmosphere of a place.
Okay, so the host has seated you at your table. What's the very next thing that usually happens?
You get the menu. The menu is the list of all the food and drinks the restaurant offers. Our server came over, introduced himself, and handed us the menus. Sometimes the server will also tell you about the specials.
Let's clarify that. The specials, or daily specials, are dishes that are not on the regular menu. They might be available for just that day because the chef got some fresh seasonal ingredients. It's always worth asking about them. Our server explained that the special was a lobster ravioli. That sounds delicious. Some restaurants, especially for lunch or special occasions, might offer a set menu, which is also called a prix fixe menu. This is a multi-course meal with a few choices for each course, all for one fixed price. It can be very good value.
That's a great option to look out for. Once you have the menu, the server will usually ask if you'd like to start with some drinks. This brings us to the first round of ordering. The person taking your order is called a server. You might also hear the older terms waiter for a man or waitress for a woman, but server is a great neutral term.
Our server asked, "Can I get you started with some drinks?" I usually start with water and then look at the beverages menu. If I'm in the mood for a beer, I might ask, "What do you have on tap?" This means you're asking which beers are served fresh from a keg or a tap, rather than from a bottle.
I'm more of a wine person. At a nicer restaurant, you might be given a separate wine list. If it's very extensive, you could even ask to speak to the sommelier, who is a wine expert on staff that can help you choose the perfect bottle to go with your meal.
That's very fancy. If you want a more straightforward option, a common question is to ask about the house wine. The house wine is usually a basic, affordable red or white wine that the restaurant serves by the glass or carafe. It's generally a safe and economical choice.
What if you don't drink alcohol?
You can look at the mocktail section. A mocktail is a non-alcoholic cocktail made with a creative mix of juices, sodas, and syrups. They can be just as fun and delicious as a regular cocktail. After drinks are sorted, the server might ask, "Are you ready to order or do you need a few more minutes?" This is when you might decide on an appetizer. An appetizer, also called a starter, is a small dish you eat before the main course to whet your appetite.
We ordered some bruschetta to share. Sometimes a restaurant might bring you something small to eat that you didn't order. If the server says it's compliments of the chef or on the house, it means it's free.
I love when that happens. And this seems like a perfect moment to pause for our first learning check. I'll ask the questions and you can provide the answers, Alice.
I'm ready.
Okay, listeners, here is your first question. What is the main difference between a set menu and ordering from the regular menu?
A set menu, or prefix menu, offers a complete meal with a limited number of choices for a single fixed price. Ordering from the regular menu, which is sometimes called a la carte, means you choose each dish individually and pay for each one separately.
Excellent distinction. And question number 2. Who is a sommelier and what is their role in a restaurant?
A sommelier is a trained wine professional who works in a restaurant. Their role is to help guests select wine from the wine list and to manage the restaurant's wine inventory.
Perfect. So, you've had your drinks and appetizers. Now it's time for the main event.
The main course, which is also called an entree in North America. This is the largest and most central part of the meal. This is where the menu can get really detailed.
It certainly can. For example, if you order a steak, the server will almost always ask, "How would you like your steak cooked?" This is a crucial question. It is, and you have a few standard answers. Rare means it's cooked very briefly, so the inside is cool and red. Medium rare is a bit more cooked, with a warm red center. Medium is pink in the middle. Medium well is mostly cooked with just a hint of pink. And well done means it's cooked all the way through with no pink at all.
My personal preference is medium rare. It's also very important at this stage to communicate any dietary restrictions. This term refers to any foods you cannot or choose not to eat, whether for health, religious, or personal reasons.
That's a very important point. You might say, "I'm a vegetarian," or "I'm vegan," which means you don't eat any animal products at all, including dairy and eggs. If it's a serious health issue, you should be very clear and say, "I'm allergic to nuts," for example. This tells the server and the kitchen that it's a medical issue, not just a preference. You might also ask about the risk of cross-contamination, which is when one food comes into contact with another and transfers allergens.
A good server will often be able to recommend dishes that are safe for you, or ask the chef if they can make a substitution. A substitution is when they replace one ingredient with another. For example, could I have the salad instead of the fries?
Many main courses also come with a side dish, which is a smaller portion of food like vegetables or potatoes that accompanies the main course. The menu will usually say what it comes with. Each dish was also beautifully presented with a lovely garnish. A garnish is an item used as a decoration or embellishment on a prepared food or drink.
So, the food arrives. What happens if there's a problem? What if your food is cold or it's not what you ordered?
That can be an awkward situation, but it's important to speak up politely. You would try to get your server's attention and say something like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but my food is cold," or "I believe I was given the wrong dish." In this situation, you have the right to send it back to the kitchen to be corrected.
That's good to know. Hopefully that doesn't happen and the server comes back a few minutes later and asks, "How is everything?" This is your chance to say if something is wrong. Or hopefully you can just say, "It's delicious, thank you."
Let's hope so. After you've finished your meal, you need to get the server's attention and say, "Could we have the check, please?" In British English, you would say bill instead of check.
The server will bring you the check, which is the itemized list of what you ordered and the total cost. This is when you have to think about the tip.
The tip, or gratuity, is an extra amount of money you leave for the server to thank them for their service. The customs for tipping vary hugely around the world. In the United States, for example, a tip of 15–20% is standard. In some countries, a service charge is automatically included in the bill, so no extra tip is needed. It's always a good idea to check the bill and research the local tipping culture.
That is a fantastic piece of advice. What if you're dining with friends and you want to pay separately?
You can ask the server, "Can we split the check?" This means you want separate bills for each person or couple. Most restaurants are happy to do this.
What if you can't finish all your food?
You can ask for a doggy bag or a takeaway box. This is a container the restaurant gives you so you can take your leftovers home with you. It's a great way to avoid food waste.
It certainly is. Well, this has been a very thorough exploration of the dining experience. It seems like a great time for our final learning check.
Let's do it. Okay, listeners, question 3. What is the difference between a service charge and a tip?
A service charge is a fee that the restaurant automatically adds to your bill for the service you received. A tip, or gratuity, is an amount of money that you, the customer, choose to leave for the server, and the amount is usually at your discretion based on the quality of the service.
Exactly right. Now, the final phase of the journey, dessert.
The best part. The server might ask if you'd like to see the dessert menu. Even if you're full, it's always tempting to look. Sometimes you might just order a coffee. If you don't want caffeine, you can ask for a decaf.
And after a large meal, some people like to order a digestive. A digestive is an alcoholic drink, like a brandy or a liqueur, that you have after a meal to supposedly help with digestion.
And if you're too full for dessert but still want something sweet for later, you can often order it to go, which means you'll get it packed up to take with you.
A perfect end to a perfect meal. What a comprehensive trip through the world of restaurants.
I agree. Let's do a final rapid-fire recap of all the amazing vocabulary we've covered today. Ready?
Ready.
Reservation/booking, fully booked, walk-in, dress code, host/hostess, a table for two, booth, ambiance, menu, specials, set menu/prefix, server.
Beverages, on tap, wine list, sommelier, house wine, mocktail/cocktail, appetizer/starter, compliments of the chef, on the house.
Main course, entree, à la carte, how would you like your steak cooked, dietary restrictions, vegan, I'm allergic to, cross-contamination, substitution, side dish, garnish.
Send it back. How is everything? Could we have the check, please? Tip/gratuity, service charge, split the check, doggy bag/takeaway box, dessert menu, decaf, digestive, and to go.
Wow, that is a full menu of useful vocabulary. We sincerely hope that breaking these terms down within our story has helped you understand them better and feel more confident the next time you dine out.
That is always our goal here at Vocasphere. If you found this episode helpful, and we hope you did, please take a moment to give this video a like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our future lessons.
Your support truly helps us continue creating this content for our amazing community of learners all around the world. Thank you for joining us for this extended dive into the world of dining.
We'll talk to you in the next episode. Until then, bon appetit and happy learning, everyone!